the business owners to make a profit and also get back on their feet. But we will request for them and ask for them some type of contribution so that city services can be sustained. Now we're talking about entrepreneurship. That's something no one talks about. I believe Freeman Hendricks talked a little bit about it, but it's something that works. We're on the only region in the entire country. It works out in the East Coast, it works out in West Coast that have not tried entrepreneurship. We have abandoned buildings, we have 80,000 vacant commercial buildings and homes. We can take some of those businesses and we can gut them out and we can make them a bazaar. We can have our own giant flea market in the city of Detroit, not across 8 Mile. Although it's good across 8 Mile, but Detroit needs some type of revenue. We're not talking about people honing people's skills, honing people's talents. People like to sell CDs, people like to make things. We have to retrain them and educate them into marketing that into a business.
You know, there are a lot of issues on the table for Detroit City Council right now. One of those happens to be a 90-plus-year-old building, a train depot that has been literally an eyesore in the city of Detroit, and probably the richest man in the area happens to own it. Ken Cockrell has proposed that council pay for whatever needs to be done with that building and then send the owner a bill. The owner has said nothing about it. He was promised a police headquarters by Kwame Kilpatrick. That didn't materialize, and it's been standing there, but it's an eyesore, and it needs to come down or something needs to be done with it. Council initially was going to, I think they had either voted, was going to vote to have it raised and send the guy the bill. What should happen with it?
The building needs to be addressed. It needs to be removed. However, the owner needs to be held accountable for this in a serious way. If we need to haul him into court, whatever we need to do, he needs to step up and be responsible for getting that building raised or to rehabilitate it or come up with something meaningful so that we can get some tax revenue.
How long have you seen it? How long has it been since you've seen it?
I've seen it maybe as recently as a couple weeks ago, driving
I mean, can that place really be, I mean, does it?
Realistically, I don't think it can be rehabilitated.
It's going to take a lot more money. Where are we going to get the money from? You're talking about people who want to use that building for Homeland Security. All that takes money. How many of those floors are going to be occupied by Homeland Security? Here's the key facts. That building has been vacant since 1988, well over 20 years. It's an eyesore. The citizens, the registered voters, do not want the building there. As a politician, as a new breed of public servants, I should say, I would want to do what the citizens want. If the citizens in that area say it should be raised, yes, the owner is a billionaire, gazillionaire, if you will. But to what extent will we allow our buildings, our land to continue to be destitute and be dismantled? I believe it should be raised based per the citizens of Detroit's request.
Cobo Hall. Cobo, the issues that just won't go away. I mean, Cobo, and the clock is ticking.
Yes, it is.
One state legislator just the other day introduced a piece of legislation that would give the mayor of Detroit veto power over the city's legislative body on this particular matter. Is that good or bad?
I take issue with that. Because the bottom line is, again, the city council is supposed to be the voice of the people. The voice needs to be heard and recognized. You can't and you should not just jam this down the throats of Detroiters. We have a right to be self-determined and have our voices heard. So I'm wholly against that.
I'm against it as well. I think the Detroiters need to be educated on regionalism. We should understand why it's important. It's almost as if you got a gunshot wound, God forbid, or a stab wound. You don't have the medical wherewithal to deal with that, so you have to go to somebody who can help you out. They give you a bandage, they give you a prescription, whatever it may be, but it only lasts for so long. So my thing with the Cobo, yes, we do need some help. We would be fools if we would sit here and say we have this is ours, and we're going to go down with it. It doesn't make sense. It's illogical and it's irrational. However, how long is that help sustain? Is it indefinite? How long? You know, those are things coming from a legal mind. I'm a certified paralegal. Mikál is an attorney. So we've kind of been trained to read contracts and look between the lines and actually ask questions. He who asks a question is a fool for 5 minutes, but he who doesn't ask a question is a fool forever. So I would have a whole lot of questions sitting at the council table. I would want to know how long is the stipulation of Cobo takeover? How much more money can we get? How many citizens of Detroit can be a part of a large percent of the employment? So I do disagree with as far as the veto of the mayor.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of other issues facing Detroit City Council and the city of Detroit as it attempts to move forward. I'm Mildred Gaddis. Stay with us. excited, and Detroiters say they want change. And they demonstrated that by electing Dave Bing in the last general election. Well, there is an August primary, and in that primary, Detroiters will not only decide who will be on the city's charter commission, but they'll also decide who will make the cut, the final 18 candidates for Detroit City Council. Now, understand this, that 18 number is downsized from over 160. Well, you go figure that one. But anyway, two of the candidates who are vying for your vote in the August primary are with me today, attorney Mikál Crawford and Raphael Johnson. How much money is it going to take to win this?
Well, I'm told numbers as large as $300,000.
That's excessive, isn't it?
I think it is. On average, what I've also heard is $150,000. But in this market and with a lot of hard work, I think you can come in up under $100,000, somewhere near 70.
Okay.
$75,000 to $100,000, with about $25,000 on election day.
Okay. What kind of organization do you need?
You need volunteers. you need structure. You need to have a field plan. You need to have, first of all, you need to have the wherewithal to understand that you have to get out. Billboards don't vote. Lawn signs don't vote. People in Detroit are tired. They want to see you at their doorstep. And if you're not at their doorstep, they're intelligent enough. Don't get it twisted. They're not too prone to vote for you if they can't see you. So if you're not in the community, they're not too prone to vote for you. Billboards is good, but they don't vote. You know, I think we can ascertain that from the last election.
I don't know if any of you remember, maybe you were too young to remember, Ted Wallace.
I'm too young.
From the Michigan legislature.
Yeah, you're right.
Spent a ton of money.
You're right.
Had billboards, ads everywhere.
You're right.
Everybody in town knew that the late Ted Wallace was going to win a seat on city council. It was unbelievable. Nick Hood in this last mayor's race had signs over buses and everywhere else. Benny Napoleon, remember? You're absolutely right about the billboards. I know people love to see themselves up in lights on billboards, but they generally
The citizens
don't.
of Detroit, Mildred, are becoming politically savvy to say, look, if I'm going to vote for you and you're going to lead me, I need to see you on my steps. I need to see you walking down my bumpy street or walking down my pothole-driven street. I need to see you in my hood, as they say. I need to see you in my community.
Without a doubt, they want to see us. They want to hear our answers, our thoughts, know that we're real. We're not here just for a job. We're not just here telling lies, telling what they want to hear. They want to look us in the eyes and get a sense of honesty from us, because the times are too tough and they've been misled for the past several years.
How often does the whole corruption piece come up?
All the time.
Detroiters are still wounded. They're still a bit distrustful. They've been disrespected and literally politically abused.
Many of the people that I come across, that our team come across inside the community, they may not even know me from anywhere. They may, just don't know me from the Maury, know me from nowhere. They'll say, oh, you running for city council? Oh, all of them need to go. That is the consensus of the majority of the citizens that we deal with. And we ask them, no one can stay? None of them. Get rid of all of them, and that is the consensus. That's the opinion.
The same thing we're finding in our campaign. And the very first thing they'll let you know is everyone needs to go, and the second thing is they're going to ask, are you honest? In fact, one time my mom was out there talking with people on my behalf, and said, vote for Mikál Crawford. He's my son. And he said, well, did you raise him right? And my mom got grilled. With moral standards and all this type of stuff. They're looking for people who are honest and who are going to watch out for the best interests of the citizens of Detroit. That's the bottom line, and they deserve that because, again, we've been misled, and there's been a lot of waste and a lot of opportunities gone by, and we've got to turn Detroit around now.
I've got to ask you a question that people always want to know. If given the opportunity to give up your city car, would you give it up?
Sure. I just want a car. Steve Harvey gave me a brand new car. I don't need a new car. I got a nice car out there right now. I don't need a new car. They can have it.
Yeah, that's one of the first things that needs to go, the city car. We can pay the salary. We can afford to go get a car. We've been surviving to this point on our salary and however we're living without a car being given to us.
I want to say this. I have a unique situation because I have cars that I earned as, one, again, a brand new car for being the best community leader in 2008. However, I do understand that some police officers need jobs. And I would be willing to give up that car only to the extent that officers say, I don't need that job. But if an officer needs the job, then I wouldn't be the one. I don't want to be the one to say, no, I don't want a car. That means that a man is out of a job. And with an unemployment rate that we have now, I would hate to put our first line of defense, our officers, out there and not have a job.